Hi, my name is Vijaya and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss Salina by A. Samad Said. A. Samad Said is such a huge literary figure in Malaysia that even if you're not a fan of Malaysian literature, you would at least recognize his name or recognize how he looks like. And Salina is such a huge masterpiece. Such a huge Malaysian masterpiece. It is widely recognized in Malaysia. So if you're looking for diversity in your TBR, you should at least consider adding this. This is the English translation and English translation of the 2013 edition by ITBM. ITBM is Institute Terjemahan dan Buku Malaysia, or Malaysian Institute of Translation and Books. So what is Salina all about? Salina is set in post-World War II Singapore, focusing on the people in Kampung Kambing. Kampung Kambing, when loosely translated, means goat village. So this is about the people in a certain village in Singapore, and for the first chapter of the book we're introduced to these two characters who are newcomers to Kampung Kambing, Khatijah and Hilmi. And Khatijah is this woman who's working as a lady who washes people's laundry in people's homes, and her son Hilmi is still a student. He's around 16, 17, 18, and he's still in school and he has huge ambitions in life. And then we also introduced to Salina, who is their neighbor, and Salina is such a nice woman. He cares for her neighbors. He welcomed her two new neighbors to Kampung Kambing, and then we see each of the families in Kampung Kambing has their own personal struggle. It was just after the war. Things are hard for the people. It was hard to find jobs. It was hard to find houses to live in. Things are definitely difficult. And then we also introduced to other families, like for example Zarina and her two stepchildren, and then we see relationships blossom, and then we have these struggles which is really frustrating to read. Like for example, Salina is a really nice woman and she works really hard. She provides for her home. She's living with her unmarried partner Abdul Fakar, but unfortunately her efforts to work really hard is underappreciated because she's the one who provides for the home. She's the one who bring money back home, and this Abdul Fakar guy, he only knows how to laze around the house. He only knows how to see other women while he accepts money from Salina, and that's just really frustrating to read. The thing that makes it harder for me to read the book is, first, Abdul Fakar is such an annoying character. It's really frustrating to see Salina being so underappreciated. To see a guy living off a woman is just super frustrating. And secondly, the thing that makes it harder for me to read this book is the fact there was a lot of long descriptions, and then it's a bit slow paced for the first few chapters of the book, and then there was a lot of repetitive descriptions. Like for example, there was one time Hilmi is telling a story about his first day in an English school, and then I'm not so sure whether it's in the description or in the dialogue, but he was describing this teacher, and then it was repeated like for 3 times. Like, I know the teacher has long braided hair, but you don't have to repeat it 3 times. That's a bit too much for me. And also because of the slow pace thingy at the first few chapters, but then you get into the middle and things get really good, and then you just get invested in the characters' relationship, the characters' development, and you just continue reading until the end. It's such a satisfying read, really, although it's kind of annoying for the first few chapters because of the frustrating struggle of Salina. I really love Salina. She's a really nice woman, but then she has to live with this one guy who underappreciates her, who doesn't even bother to find work, and I just don't get him. Like, why do you have to exist? It's just so frustrating, really. And then the things I like about the book is that the portrayal of Salina, because Salina is actually a prostitute, but she's also portrayed as a really good person. I really like that because I feel like we as a society, we tend to put people in a certain mold. Like, if you're a bad person, you are entirely bad. If you're a good person, you're entirely good. For example, if you're religious, then you must be a good person. If you're a prostitute, then you must be a bad person, which is not necessarily true, because people can have combination of different traits. People are not specifically good or bad. And I guess that's the reason why this book was controversial a long time ago during that era it was being published, because it was such a surprise to see a prostitute being portrayed as a good person. And I believe that is a good thing, because it teaches us that people have life choices, and sometimes they are forced to make certain life choices. It doesn't really matter whether they are forced to or whether it's voluntarily done. It is still not appropriate for us to just label a person as 100% good or 100% bad. And that's what I like about this character. And also what I like about this is the fact that it also brings up certain themes, really timeless and relevant themes, which I believe is really needed, especially in today's society. Like, for example, there were certain things that were brought up through the characters' dialogues and conversations. For example, you can just quote religious teachings. You also have to set a good example. You have to provide help, real effort, real help. And you can just quote religious teachings. I think that's really relevant, especially in today's society, because I think people tend to quote religious teachings on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. They only know how to quote, but they themselves do not provide good example or provide actual help, like actual effort. And then we also have this thing where some dialogues between the characters actually remind us that we are human beings with brains, and we have to use it to think, not to just like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna do this today, yeah, I'm just gonna do this today, but I don't care about the future, I don't care about the present, I just want to have fun. Yeah, good luck with that, bro, good luck with that. Those are the things that we already know, kind of know, but it's kind of nice to be reminded of that. And for that, I love this book. I love this book because it's enjoyable, it's entertaining, the characters' development are great, the backstories are great, the themes that were being brought up through the dialogues of the characters are great. And for that, I give this book 4 stars. The ending is tragic yet beautiful at the same time. The author managed to strike a balance between tragedy and happiness, and I really like that, because I don't really like 100% happy ending. I also don't really like sad ending, like sad as in terrible ending. I like it when there's a balance between those two, and this book does that just perfectly. And so yeah, I guess that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.